Well, there's one thing there's no shortage of in the region of Waterloo, and that's beautiful scenery. And you can take it in if you're on a bicycle, biking through the many bike paths that we have, great area for bicycling. If you have a bike, that's not a reality for some families in the area, but our next guest is trying to make sure that bikes get into the hands of kids who really need them. Heaven's Bicycle Shop has started a program called Bikes For Tykes, and we have the owner of Heaven's Bicycle Shop, Gerald Blanchard, joining us. Good to have you here.
Hi, how are you?
And Matt Cooper is here, who's with the House of Friendship, which helps distribute these bikes to kids who need them through the Emergency Food Hamper program. Good to have you here too, Matt.
Thanks.
Now, I have to ask you, Gerald, that you have the bicycle shop, you've got Heaven's Bicycle Shop. Where did the idea for Bikes For Tykes come from?
Well, as a single parent, it was hard to get bikes for my kids, and then the region had extra bikes. We get our bikes from the region of Waterloo mainly, and from donations, and the kids' bikes weren't going anywhere, so I suggested to them the Bikes For Tykes program, and they thought it was a great idea.
I think it's a fabulous idea. And, you and I come from the same sort of generation where when, a bike was a little bit older, you didn't just throw it out and get rid of it. I was from a family of 6 kids, so when one was done with it, you just passed it down to the next one, and if it needed a little bit of rejigging, well, you found somebody who could fix it up for you, and away you go, and you could use bikes forever.
Some of our bikes are probably the same bikes that you use when you're a child.
I hope the banana seat's gone from them now, because the kids might not like that as well.
Those are high demand.
Well, then you made this connection with the House of Friendship.
Well, it was distribution. How could I give bikes to kids that needed them?
And the House of Friendship, Matt, you're in charge, the coordinator for the Emergency Hamper program. And the one thing you noticed was the families that were coming from you, their needs didn't just stop at food. There were other needs that these families had.
Yeah, and this is the kind of partnership that the House of Friendship is really all about. I mean, where I work, it's just one of 18 programs, and we can't do a fraction of what we do without the help of volunteers, so people like Gerald. And where I work, we're helping primarily with food, but people have other needs as well. And a third of the families that a third of the people that we serve are children. Many of them quite young, so it means a lot for them to come to get one of the basic needs that they are looking for, food, and then to get something as powerful as a bike for their children as well.
Well, for a lot of us, you think about all the time we used to spend as kids out on our bike, out with your friends, out doing those things. And you said your boys too. To be a child that has to kind of be on the sidelines and standing there watching as everybody else is out doing those things that we consider so normal, that's a hard thing to watch a child go through.
Yes, and like the bikes, as a kid, they just want to ride a bike. And it's not just one child that uses the bike. It'll be 3 or 4 other kids that would use it because of the situation.
Well, you haven't just put 1 or 2 bikes out there for the kids and in the hands of House of Friendship and the emergency program that they have. It's upwards of 700 bicycles that Bikes For Tykes has managed to put out into the community.
Yes.
That's unbelievable. There must be some incredible stories, and I can only imagine when you're seeing the faces of some of these families and the kids that come through, Matt, how much this means to them.
Well, even this last Monday, we got the first load of the summer from Gerald. We got about 34 bikes, and in the space of about 2 hours, we had already given out somewhere in the range of 22. So as we were unloading them from the back of the truck that we used to pick them up from Gerald's shop, there was a family that had just gotten some food. It was a mother and her 7-year-old, and they came up and said, "Oh, that's a lot of bikes. But how much are they?" So I explained that they were free and that Gerald had fixed them up just for families like theirs. So her son immediately hopped onto this blue one and then pedaled it up to the bus stop across the road from the program, and she followed with the food. And then after that, another grandmother and her grandson came out with food as well, and she overheard my conversation with the first family. So I helped her pick out a bike for her grandson, which she was sort of raising on her own, and she loaded it in the back of her car, and was extremely grateful because it was something that he wanted, but she wasn't able to provide. Last year, we were able to share some of the bikes with 4 of the community centers that the House of Friendship has. And in one neighborhood, there was a little boy, Mohammed. He came with his sisters. They all got bikes, but then a family came after the fact, and there were no bikes left. So little Mohammed gave his neighbor, Brandon, the bike that he had, because his family had already received some, and just so that the other family could have some as well. So it means a lot to the people that we help.
Unbelievably a lot to those people that have them. Now, there are a couple of things that people should know, Gerald, about Heaven's Bicycle Shop. First of all, it's kind of a hybrid. This is actually a business, and then the Bikes for Tykes program is the charitable side, something that you do on the side. But the business helps to support what you're doing with Bikes for Tykes.
Without selling bikes and parts, it couldn't work.
So if people are looking to buy a great refurbished bike,
we have great bikes from the 50s right through.
Do they still have banana seats on them, Gerald, though?
Some
you
do.
Find them
Some do.
But that's
Those
a great
are in
way.
high demand too.
Well, and it's a great way to get a bicycle on a number of different fronts. First of all, it's environmentally friendly to do this, because you're saving these bikes from going into a landfill and reusing instead of purchasing new. But like you said, you've got some great quality bikes there and good prices.
We have some really good bikes, and they're all priced accordingly, and they're better priced than what you'd ever buy new too.
And through the purchase of parts, even you've got different parts there. If people are sourcing them, this goes back into the Bikes for Tykes.
We have all kinds of parts, like the old changers, derailleurs, tires. $5 practically, you can buy any part.
Wow. And you can't find that when you're going into any store. And what it buys you on top of that is the good feeling of knowing that you're helping out a member of your community. Sometimes you never know. When you see that child biking down the street, it could be somebody on one of the Bikes for Tykes, and you've helped put that into their hands.
And we pay people that work on our bikes, you know, so it's not like the money comes in and it goes out paying people to work on the bikes, because I couldn't put out that many bikes myself.
Well, it's a wonderful program, and you can find out more about it by going to Heaven's Bicycle Shop, your website. You can find out more through the House of Friendship and get those bikes.
725 King Street North.
They're a perfect location
Waterloo.
for it. All right. Thank you both for joining us. Pleasure to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Back in a moment. Stay with us.